section is basically my toolkit and accessories. The second section is also a bit of a toolkit with miscellaneous items and smaller props. And my bottom section here is for all the fuel that I carry. Another amazing feature about my firebox is that it is on wheels. So you can wheel it around just about anywhere. It's pretty amazing. All of these items are very much needed in your fire kit. Here I have a family first aid kit. It's really good if you have any kind of very severe burn. You can treat it immediately before you have to go to urgent care or a hospital. This is my fire blanket from Matrix. It's not the biggest fire blanket in the world, but it'll still get the job done, and it puts everything out very quickly, very easily, and very safely. I also have my splitter powder, my Lycotorch additive. I also have iron powder, which is, it basically has a very similar effect to splitter powder, but it's golden instead of white. And this is my bubble mix that I will be using very soon. I also carry these. They're really good for adjusting quick wicks. So if you have a hula hoop and the quick wick is moving all around, you definitely want to have these tools to tighten them up. Then I have my Canva business cards. They're truly beautiful. You always want to have your business cards on you. Has all your information on it. Then I have beeswax. Beeswax is really good for minor burns. So if you have like a teeny tiny little burn, you can just put it on there and it helps with healing. Then I have my can opener to open my fuel station. Comes in very much handy. Then I have a lighter. Everyone needs a lighter to start their fire show. Don't forget a lighter. I then have these gloves, and they're really helpful for putting splitter on your props and just protecting yourself whenever you're fueling. They're really good for all of those purposes. I have these leather gloves. They're really good for hot props. I have a pair of fans that get incredibly hot, and I always use these gloves with them. And I also use these with my palm torches. They're really good for protecting your hands from getting too hot. I also have these bamboo sleeves. They're really good for protecting your arms from getting singed. And I also have these plastic baggies. They're really good for indoor gigs in the case of you're not going to have an area to spin off. You can squeeze your wicks inside of these bags to get the excess fuel off, and then you'll be good to go. That's it for section number 1. So in my second section of my box, I carry my mister bottle that I can mist my hair with to protect it whenever I'm fire performing. I also carry these squirt bottles. They're really useful for mixed fuel. They're really useful for odd props that, you know, they're not, you can't dip them normally, so it's best to use a squirt bottle. And they're really good for also having water in here. I also carry a light because it's very beneficial whenever you don't have a good light source around you at a gig. This can also easily attach itself to just about anything, and all you have to do is twist it on and it's on, and it gives you plenty of light. I also carry my various small props inside of baggies so they don't get soot on everything. And I cover the wicks always. And I'll explain what each prop is here in a minute. I also have a mallet that I use to hammer down the lids of my dip station when I'm done, so that there's no fuel being spilled anywhere. I also carry more plastic bags for squeezing your wicks out at indoor gigs. You can never get enough of these baggies if you do indoor gigs. This is flame retardant spray, so it's really good to spray down the surfaces that you'll be performing in. It's also good to spray onto your clothing just as an extra measure. This is my lycopodium powder. It's very messy. I have a lot of it in this bag, so I'm not going to open it up, but yes, it's here. And then I have these. They're for lyra, so you can attach them on and make it a fire lyra. Palm torches are in this bag. They're the super cute ones from the Spinsters. I got them a while ago. They're still amazing. I also have this butane fuel for whenever I do bubbles. Fire bubbles are so much fun. I have these chain poi that are huge, but they're a lot of fun. Like I said, I keep everything in bags so that things don't get messy. They don't get sooty all over the place. But definitely do not put a freshly burned prop into these bags. They will destroy the bag and you'll have to get a new bag. It's just wait for them to cool down to put them back. And then I have this really big torch. I used to fire breathe. I don't anymore, and that was initially what I was using it for. But it can also just be a really good torch to put sparkle powder on. You can use it to light your bigger props. It's really good for all of those reasons. Then I have my fire eating torches. They're super fun. I love my fire eating torches. These are my really hot fans. As you can see, they are all like, there's nothing protecting your hands, so I use the gloves whenever I perform with these. I also have a fire belt. These are really fun to dance with. And I have a sliding orb, nicknamed the Goblin. And last but not least, I have my regular fire poi. So for my third section is basically my fuel dump. So it will have a wide variety of different fuels that I'll carry with me to each gig. So I have labeled each of these with the different fuels that they carry. This is the 50-50 mix. And I also have this smaller one that I actually dip my wicks into, and you can put this inside of the bigger can by opening this with your can opener. Just like this. And this is actually the safest way to have your fuel in a dip station, because it's the double bucket system and it keeps anything from falling in, any hazardous materials, cigarettes, whatever. And another great thing about this is that you can put it inside of the third section as even more of a preventative measure. So you can put it inside here, shut this, and it's even more safe and protected than before. I also have lamp oil, which is part of the 50-50 mix, and it's small enough to fit inside of my third section, so I always just keep it inside of there. And these rags, this rag in particular, it can be used for fire breathing, or it can be used to clean up spills, anything like that. This one is actually good for fire breathing, because you can clip it onto your costume, and then it's easy to wipe yourself after you breathe. And I keep it in this little section here. I also keep this carabiner just in case I need to collect props together and combine them for easier carrying. I got my firebox from Walmart, so you can find these toolkits pretty much at any Walmart anywhere, and I think it was about $80 to $100 for this whole entire toolkit. So it's about $100 well spent, honestly, and it's really good to help keep you prepared for all of your fire gigs, so I highly recommend.